Hi, I'm Rose from Inside the Box, and this is our How to Play video for Sub Terra II. Sub Terra II is an adventure co-op game for 1 to 6 players. Players must explore a volcanic temple, dodging traps, fighting monsters, and finding the keys to unlock its inner sanctum. To win the game, players must rescue the ancient artifact and make it out with as many caves as possible before the volcano erupts. Setup. First, placing the entrance, sanctum and wing tiles aside, place all of the tiles into the tile bag. Then put out the entrance and wing tiles like shown, and leave the sanctum tile to the side. Each player then takes an explorer and the associated colour meeple. The meeple goes on the entrance tile, then take the amount of health shown in the top left corner of that character's card. Give one player the lead explorer scroll. They will be the first player for the rest of the game. Place the volcano marker on its starting space on the eruption tracker. The starting space depends on how many players are playing the game and what difficulty level you're playing at. Objective. To win Sub Terra II, players must explore all of the tiles in the tile bag, placing them all out on the board. When this happens, the sanctum will then be revealed. Players must then bring all the keys they found elsewhere in the cave to the sanctum, unlocking the artifact. And finally, players must escape with the artifact and as many surviving explorers as possible to the cave entrance before the volcano erupts. Round structure. Sub Terra II is divided into rounds. Each round, starting from the lead explorer, the players will take their turns in order. On their turn, a player will spend all their action points for that round and then roll the hazard die and resolve it immediately. At the end of the round, once all players have taken their turn, the volcano tracker will move up one towards eruption. The guardians will then activate twice. Basic actions. On their turn, a player has 2 action points with the option of taking a third. Players can get a third action point by choosing to exert, which means to spend one of their health points to get a third action point. Players can only do this once a round. For 1 action point, a player can reveal a tile next to any open exit on their current tile. For 1 action point, a player can move 1 space. If they want to be risky, players can commit to moving before they reveal. This is called exploring and also costs 1 action point, but whatever the tile is, you have to move on to it. For 2 action points, a player can move 3 spaces. This is called run. For 1 action point, you can heal yourself or any other player on your tile for 1 health point. For 1 action point, you can fight a guardian that's on your tile, but you'll have to make a skill check by rolling the die to see if you're successful or not. A roll of 4 or higher is successful and the guardian is removed from the board. 3 or lower is a fail and nothing happens. Handle item. For 1 action point, you can pick up or put down a key or artifact. Dig. For 2 action points, you can remove a rubble token from an adjacent tile. Each explorer also has 2 special abilities which are described at the bottom of their card. The dots next to that ability show how many action points it costs the explorer to use. If there are no action points, it's a passive ability which is always active unless the explorer is downed. At the end of your turn, you'll roll the hazard die and resolve the hazard immediately. There are 6 different sides to the hazard die, each one triggering a different hazard in the cave. Stumble. If you have not exerted this turn, nothing happens when you roll stumble. If you have exerted, you lose an additional health point on top of the one you paid in order to exert. Lava. When you roll lava, any explorer across the board standing on a lava tile will take 1 damage. Traps. When you roll traps, you will trigger a spike trap if you are standing on one, and any dart traps that you are in range of. The spike trap will only trigger if you are standing on top of it, and it does 3 damage to anyone standing on the trap when it triggers. A dart trap has range 1. Anyone standing on the trap or within 1 space will take 1 damage when a dart trap triggers. Only a trap that you are on or next to will trigger. This does not trigger all the traps across the board. Collapse. If all the collapse tiles are already caved in when you roll collapse, nothing happens. If there are any exposed collapse tiles without a rubble token on top, then roll the number die. If the number on the die matches that on any uncollapsed collapse tile, then that tile will cave in and you add a rubble token to it. Any explorer standing on that tile will take 5 damage. Spawn Guardian. If you roll Spawn Guardian on the hazard die, then a Guardian will spawn in the closest spawn tile to you. Activate Guardian. All Guardians across the board activate. If a Guardian is already sharing a space with an active explorer, they will deal that explorer 1 damage. If there are multiple explorers on the tile, you can decide which explorer takes the damage. If a guardian is not sharing a space with an active explorer, instead of attacking, it will move 1 space towards the closest active explorer. In Sub Terra II, there are 9 different types of tiles. Dart traps. Dart traps are safe until you roll a trap on the hazard. If you roll traps when you're standing on or next to a dart trap, that dart trap will trigger, dealing anyone in range 1 damage. Bridge tiles. The rickety bridge tile can only be occupied by 1 explorer at a time. Guardian spawn tile. A guardian spawn tile will spawn a guardian as soon as it is placed. It also acts as a spawn point for future spawns when players roll a hazard die. Collapse tiles. Collapse tiles start collapsed with a rubble token on top of them, and can only be entered once the rubble token has been dug out. If it recollapses while an explorer is on that tile, that explorer will take 5 damage. Lava tiles. These tiles are activated by the lava side of the hazard die. Key tiles. When a key tile is placed, a key will spawn in that tile. If a player enters the tile, they can pick up the key. Spike trap. When an explorer enters the spike trap tile, they must immediately make a check on the number die to see if they successfully avoid the spikes. If they roll 4 or higher, they succeed. If 3 or lower, they fail and take 3 damage. Normal tiles. These are safe-ish. Finally, the aristocrats' journal tiles. These are a special kind of tile and shouldn't be placed in the main tile bag. Instead, they should be kept with the aristocrat's character card and can be played as a special action. If an explorer loses all their health, they are considered downed. Downed explorers can only crawl, which means to move 1 space each round. Downed explorers can still be healed, but they cannot heal themselves. Another explorer must heal them instead. Once a downed explorer is healed, they are restored to 1 health point and can then take actions as normal. Guardians. Guardians spawn when a guardian tile is placed, or when guardian spawn is rolled on the hazard die. The only exception to this is the wing tiles, which are placed without any guardians on at the start of the game. Guardians can be destroyed through fighting or through various character abilities. When guardians activate, if it's sharing a space with an active explorer, then that explorer will take 1 damage. If there are multiple explorers on the tile, players can choose which explorer takes the damage. If an explorer leaves the tile with a guardian on, they will take 1 damage. If a guardian is blocked by a rubble token, instead of moving, it will dig that rubble token out. Guardians are not affected by lava or trap tiles, but they can be killed by various explorer actions, or if a collapse tile collapses when they're standing on it. The artifact. Your team are here to do archaeology, so the most important thing in the game is to collect all 3 keys and get them to the sanctum. Once all the tiles in the bag have been placed, the sanctum will be placed in the column farthest from the temple entrance. In order to unlock the sanctum and rescue the artifact, all 3 keys will need to be placed on the outer portion of the sanctum. Each character can only carry 1 key, so this will require coordination within your team. When all 3 keys have been placed, the artifact will be unlocked and placed in the inner portion of the sanctum. Players will then need to retrieve the artifact and bring it to the cave exit before the volcano erupts in order to win the game. When a player picks the artifact up, the temple becomes angry. Flip the lead explorer scroll to its cursed side, showing you that at the end of every player's turn they will now roll 2 hazard die, and the volcano marker will go up twice at the end of every round. When the volcano tracker is at 0, and lava is rolled for the first time in hazard dice, the eruption begins. Flip the volcano board to its erupting side, and start the eruption from the sanctum, flipping it to its lava side. Whenever the volcano triggers, the lava will now spread to all adjacent tiles. The volcano triggers twice at the end of the round, and any time a player rolls lava on the hazard die. If players have the artifact, they need to take it to the exit of the cave in order to win. If a player is caught in the lava, they die and are removed from the board. This means they cannot escape the cave. However, players lost in lava still take hazard rolls. If a guardian is spawned because of those hazard rolls, it will spawn closest to the entrance of the game. Game end. The game ends when either the artifact has been swallowed by lava, or there are no remaining active explorers in the cave, either because they have escaped or they have been downed or killed by lava. Your final score depends on whether or not you got the artifact out, and how many cavers you escaped with. If you did not succeed in finding the artifact, your team is forgotten, lost to the depths of history. If you succeeded in getting the artifact out, then your rating depends on the number of explorers that died in the cave. If you escaped, but 3 or more explorers died, that's a bronze victory. 2 or more explorers died, that's a silver victory. 1 explorer died, that's a gold victory. If you escaped with the artifact and no explorers died, then you are legendary. And that's it. Thanks for watching our how to play video for Sub Terra II. Follow the ITV channel for more updates on all our games.